Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the Youth Intake Challenge as we near the end of the championship season and we've got our youth intake coming through, which looks like a really good one. For anyone who's not seen it before, I just have to highlight again the away kit, which is just the home kit but in a slightly different order. A bit bizarre to me. Always thought it should be something completely different, but there you go. Just a point of note, something that's been bugging me for a while, so I had to get it off my chest. Stick around and we'll go through the an update of where we are and then the youth intake. As always, we will come to the competitions first, and what feels like, as always, we are out the FA Cup and we're out the Carabao Cup already. We were out in the previous episode to Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. Thought we had a favourable draw against Rochdale in the FA Cup, but unfortunately they knocked us out straight away, so we're out both cups. That left us to concentrate on the league. We've been flirting down the bottom for ages. I think we have been in the relegation zone a couple of times, but we seem to have just levelled off slightly out. 20th position, we're just cutting up to 18th now. So we're now 8 points clear and we've got 7 games left to go, so I think barring a bizarre recovery from some of the teams below us, Hull, Wrexham and Coventry, I think we're probably going to be okay. Maybe another win or two might just see us over the line, which with the fixtures we've got left, it's not impossible. We could do it relatively quickly, but that's kind of what we're aiming for, is just safety this year. The first season of the Championship, it's been tough. It's had its separate issues, which we'll discuss shortly, but so far so good. It looks like we're going to survive, and for the first season in the Championship, that's what we're asking for, so that's brilliant. Club finances continue to rocket down into the gutter. We're losing money hand over fist. Still struggling to find a way to kind of recoup that outside of some kind of major player sale, which I don't particularly want to do. However, I'm going to stop requesting things from the board for the academy and the training facilities until this levels out a little bit, because it looks like the projection long term doesn't make for pretty reading. So we're going to let that try and stabilise a little bit, because I think it's really important to try and make the club sustainable, or else we might find ourselves out on our ears and no longer in charge of the club. So that's where we are in terms of that. In terms of the club vision, that defensively solid football, we've managed to pull it back a little bit. We've played some games a bit more defensive than we have done in the past. That's pleased the board, got us up to satisfied. So in terms of the board and the sport feedback, we're doing pretty good. In terms of the 5-year plan, avoiding relegation, looks like we're going to do that. So we're doing pretty good. In terms of the longer term, again, just avoiding relegation from the Championship, which on a youth intake challenge is going to be pretty tough. I think hoping this next intake is going to be the one that boosts us up a little bit and stabilises us. But like I said, I think we're still going to have to do some kind of club sale to secure the long-term future of the club. So we'll see what happens with that. Nothing in terms of transfers. In terms of the squad itself then, again, some really good training performances. So John O'Carr, Dean Spence doing really well on the training side. John O'Carr getting more and more involved now. Young 17-year-old centre midfielder, ball winner as well, which is really useful. Or we can play Mazzala as well, which we've not really used for him. However, he's got some really good player traits in there, and the more and more he gets exposed to the team, the better and better he seems to do. So I think maybe not so much this year, but long term he's going to become one of our first team midfielders. I think he's probably gone past like Mergam Tahiri, players like that, in terms of getting into the first team quicker. But Mergam Tahiri, he maybe has suffered that he's just not quite as gritty in midfield as maybe some of the other players, so it's quite hard to get him in there. But again, some really good high potential players in there. They've not quite made it yet, but Berat Oza, he's had a couple games on the left hand side, so he's made his debut. He's now introduced to the squad. He's not yet got his first goal, but more and more games to him. Gets into the opponent's area, doesn't dive into tackles. Fairly consistent performer in the mid 6.5s. So I think he's going to get more and more exposure, which will mean that Efe Ntodo can move on and get out of the club, and we can make room for more left wingers. Dimitri is playing pretty well out there, but Oza I think is the long-term successor, and he's got the highest potential threshold as well. Collins and Nyango has been promoted to the first team squad as well as our reserve right back. Again, Coleman's really good back there. We did have Potter as a standby. Brustad's been developing as well. However, Collins and Yango seems to have come out of nowhere. He's got high potential, and we've just given him his debut, so he's another one that's looking like he might be pretty good. Long term, James Healy as well, a couple of games up front. He's not really looking to oust Tony Dunk in the short term, because I think Dunk is by far and away our best striker, but again, making some promises in there. So as you can see, we've got a high number of high potential players in there, hoping to build on that with the next youth intake. The future looks bright. We now just need to start looking at moving some of these players down the bottom. Atienza, he hinted that he might want to leave. He's now said he wants to stay, but if we could get 4.3 million for him at only 2.5 star current and potential ability here from the start, 29 years old, we've got some plenty young defenders coming through who can take his place. So it might be time to try and recoup some fees for some of these players down the bottom. And again, Dimitriadis is one of them. If we can cash on him while he's got good value and playing well, we might have to let a couple of these go for a fee down the bottom and bring in some more high potential players up at the top end to feed the club. In terms of the schedule, I mean, again, it's never been particularly pretty reading, but in recent games, I mean, last 3 games, a home win against Bristol City 1-0, Dean Spence with a penalty, a draw with West Brom 1-1, Adi McAvoy with a goal, headed from a corner. Burnley, we managed to beat 1-0. That was one of the defensive performances. James Healy with a goal, a rare start, coming in ahead of Tony Dunk. Again, February, not bad. We got 2 wins in there against Peterborough and Wrexham. Defeats to Sunderland, Birmingham and Cardiff, which aren't unexpected. Another little cheeky point against Hull. So, again, probably the surprise result is the 4-0 win at Peterborough. I mean, Amal Taylor, McAvoy, Duncan, Friday we'll talk about soon when we get to the dynamic section. But I think each month we've ground out at least a win and a draw, which has just kept us ticking over points-wise. I think there's still a few games in there that have been pretty close where we could pick up more points in the future. But we're going to have to see what the intake's like and how quickly they develop as we move in towards next season. Training's been going pretty good. Individual training, we're still kind of trying to train players in the positions we want. So as you can see there, some of the young players put in some really good performances. And I think that change a season or so ago has made us huge benefits towards the first team performances, and probably a reason why we've been able to survive in the Championship as well. The other bit we want to look at really is the dynamics. You can see there Christopher Friday, incredibly unhappy. He's been very difficult to manage of late. There was a huge number of bids coming in through the December, the winter transfer window, and they were only offering 2 million for a player who is far and away our best player at the club, without a shadow of a doubt. He's got Premier League potential. He's already a good Championship player, and they were offering a paltry fee. I kept turning it down. He wanted to go away. The other players in the club rallied around us and forced a meeting saying I should let him go. I said no. Then players came in for Juddy Mandanda as well. He got unhappy. We've since recovered the Mandanda situation. Christopher Friday, slightly different because we don't yet have him on a long-term contract. However, we have forced him into staying at the club in the short term. He's far and away the best player. We can't let him go until we get some ready-made centre-half replacements, because he's so important to us staying up defensively that we've kept him. So what we need to do, and you can see that the wanted list of clubs that want him, 19 clubs want him, 1.6 million. We need to get him happy enough to accept a new contract. He's currently signed on till 2039, so we've got another year out of him, but we really need to get that opportunity where he's happy outside of a transfer window and time down to a new long-term contract. So that's the priority really. All being said, what we'll do is I'll get ready. I'll get us through. We'll have a look at the new intake. And here we go. I told you it looked like it might be a good one. When I stopped on it and I'd seen it, I know recent intakes haven't been particularly great, especially in terms of the elite talents. However, we've got 4 elite talents come through this time in what could be a generational improvement for the club. So quite good in terms of elite talents. We've got a number of top talents as well. I think like previous windows, I'm not even going to entertain the decent talents. So Theo Chiesa and George Chibwiki, no chance. I'm going to say the same for the good talents. So I know there's a right back and a left back in there who potentially could have been reserve in them positions. However, I think we have enough depth that we can just ignore them. So that's 6 players we're not going to take. leaving us 6 top talents across various positions, and then 4, so 10 coming in, which means we're probably going to have to shift some players because we're going to start getting an inflated squad again. But let's have a look at what we've got then. So first one up, Eric Yeboah pressing forward. First thing I noticed is he's not a natural striker. He plays behind, so I'm thinking maybe more of a shadow striker. So we'll have a look at him. Fairly short, gets forward when possible, so it kind of sits to him playing slightly deeper. Dribbling, finishing, first touch isn't particularly great in terms of playing in that striker position, so maybe that little bit deeper technique. I think he's more of an attacking midfielder than a striker, more of a supporting role. But again, he looks like he might have a lot of potential there, unambitious, which we've not been blessed with great personalities coming through. However, I don't think he looks like a terrible player. However, his pace could be a little bit better. His pace and acceleration isn't great, but we don't currently play with attacking midfielders, so we might have to retrain him up front. And then, is he quick enough to be our advanced forward? I'm not entirely sure, but that's Eric Yeboah. He's one we'll definitely sign up. After Eric Yeboah, we've got another striker, Arnal Roldan, Spanish advanced forward. So he's in the right position. He's already 1.5 star. We're looking for a bit of pace, which we haven't got. Finishing first touch is really good. Acceleration and pace is a bit low though. 182, so he's quite tall. No traits, light height, personality, good technique, work rate, good teamwork. Off the ball's a little low, but again, depending on how his physicals develop, bear in mind he's only 15. If he gets a bit of pace coming up, which we'll have to try and train him to get him a bit more mobile. His initial starting stats, dribbling, finishing, first touch, is actually pretty good. And we're all a sucker for a foreign striker. So Arnal Roldan is one for the future, definitely, that we're going to sign up. After that, we got Robbie Harris, defensive midfielder. Maybe this is the long-term successor for Kasaba Rakso. Let's have a look. Hard-working midfielder, fairly professional, tackling and work rate. I mean, the 2 really good ones we want in there in that holding midfield position. Good teamwork. I mean, that's defensive midfielder. He's just a natural successor, isn't he? He's got high potential. 3.5 to 4.5 star. Fairly professional. I think he could be a key player in the future. I like having a defensive midfielder in the squad. So Robbie Harris looking really good in terms of a youth coming through. Goalkeeper Tom Hartnett, Australian. Always looking for reflexes when we kick on this, and tall, 199 centimetres, so he's massive, and his reflex is 13, so he's got both the things we wanted. No traits, fairly loyal. Again, I mean, that's massive, 199 centimetres. I mean, I think he could be a really good goalkeeper. I'm not sure if his potential threshold, and that can adjust, that can change, but initially I'm not sure if he can have some of the players in the squad, but again, we'll keep him till he's at least 18, 19 to see him bottom out his physical attributes as he grows, but good high potential goalkeeper. Lee Wilson, centre half. Again, we're looking for tall, 187, so nowhere near the size of the goalkeeper, but young centre back, brings the ball out of defence, so that's pretty good. He might be quite comfortable back there. Tackling technique, positioning's a bit low. Good jumping reach as well, considering he's quite tall, and good at heading. So yeah, again, Lee Wilson looking like he's one for the future. And again, if we do end up losing one of our big centre halves, Christopher Friday or Adi McAvoy, we've got someone ready-made to come and backfill. Ball winning midfielder, we like these. Jordan Canderton, again, fairly short, looks like a combative midfielder, good work rate and teamwork, tackling, aggression, bravery, fairly professional, gets forward wherever possible. So in that midfield role, a bit of a Jody Mandanda type, I think. I mean, that'd be a fairly interesting comparison if we compare him with a Jody Mandanda. I don't know if he's... Where is he? There we go. So a ready-mould all-rounder, but obviously Mandanda streaks ahead at the minute. But if he develops anywhere near that kind of all-rounder, I think we could have a real good player on our hands in Jordan Canderton. So again, hard to tell from that because his technical ability is quite low as it stands, but depending how he develops over the next few years, definitely want to put some work into. All right, now Murat Bektas, I was expecting me to. It sounds a very Turkish name, but advanced midfielder on the left-hand side, inverted. Maybe a long-term replacement for Dimitriadis. Again, we're looking, good pace, good acceleration, good passing. Inverted winger, I'm not sure about the inverted winger role. Don't really do it too much, but tries to play way out of trouble. I'm not sure if that might actually get us into trouble. But yeah, good pacey winger. We might have to train him to be more of a traditional winger, which he can do. Just work a little bit on his crossing and his dribbling. But yeah, Murat Bektes looks like a really promising left winger. Glenn Pierre, centre half. Again, we like a good centre half. We've got another couple centre halves in here. 189, really tall, good jumping reach, tackling, marking, positioning, all pretty good. Positioning slightly low, but hands head in. So young centre back, spirited. Yeah, and we like the good tall centre half. So having some backups coming through is making me feel a bit more comfortable that if Christopher Friday does go for a big fee, etc., we can generate some money out of him. Long term, we have some players coming in behind. So, because as much as I don't want to lose some of our best players, I think it's something we're going to have to do. And again, let me know in the comment section if you've ever done this kind of challenge, how pivotal that kind of big player sale can be in generating your club long term. Second last one, Derry John de Havilland, quite the mouthful. Again, another tall centre half, 187, so not quite as tall. But again, he's slightly better tackling, positioning stats, although marking's a little bit off. Potential leader in the making there as well. Brave, good jumping reach, fairly professional. Slightly older as well, so he might get exposed to the first team slightly quicker. But yeah, another good one. And then a goalkeeper in Caden Kays. It's a bit of a alliterative name. Sweeper keeper, which we've not used in a long time. Again, reflexes, 184 seems small now when you put 199 players up against him. But he's meant to be one of the picks of the bunch. 15 years old, so he might have a little bit of growing in him. Looks like a good spread of stats to start with. So yeah, all in all, and if we just do a quick comparison with him against Fredericks, probably the fairest way to do it is, I mean, he's quicker, but if he's a sweeper keeper, he probably is. He has a little bit to go in terms of the aerial side and shot stopping, but he's potential if he can just round out some of them stats towards some of these attributes. He could be a better keeper long term. Fredericks, another one that he has a release clause, which is worrying me. So having some goalkeepers coming through in the back might be hugely promising. So that's the intake. I think it's looking pretty good. We've got 10 players to reel in there. I'm just trying. What am I trying to click on here? 10 players to reel in on there. So if we just have a quick blast through the youth candidates and rank them, I mean, I think we're taking up to there. So it's about 10 players. We'll bring in. We'll shift a few long term. We definitely have to do a bit more in terms of succession planning and moving people on. But I'll try and generate some interest using the scouting market. In terms of the schedule, there's 6 more games I think to go. We'll save them for the next episode. You will see where we finish, and we'll do the end of season review. I think we're pretty comfortable, so I don't see any point really coming back for the last game of the season or anything. I'll just update you on how we got on for the final 6 games. We'll do the end of season review, bit of squad planning, and then we'll get geared up for season 2 in the Championship. So once again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the update. Let me know who you think the pick of the bunch is from the players. I think we've got a couple of really good centre halves in there, and I'm quite excited about the left winger, albeit not as an inverted. And yeah, we're excited to see where the next season goes. It should some of our best players stay. Until next time, take care, enjoy yourselves, enjoy Football Manager, and I'll see you soon.